In our premiere episode of a series of the feature Victims to Victors, WTV's Elijah Mwangi brings us the story of one lady, Mary Mwangi, who has had to adjust and live a life she had known nothing about, being on a wheelchair for the rest of her life. That condition also saw the birth of Mary Mwangi Foundation to cater for people living with spinal injuries. We met Mary at her home in Nairobi, and here is her life-changing story.
The saying that a human life is a story told by God will sink deep in your mind when you meet Mrs. Mary Mwangi at her home in Nairobi. Mary, a mother of two, has been living with disability as a result of spine injury for the last 6 years. Like most of us, Mary had a normal life till 3rd October 2008 when she had a fatal accident, an incident that transformed her entire life. From the Mary she was to a wheelchair user. A day that had started well would turn out to be the darkest day in her life.
I left my office in Nairobi, training again to go home, and along Wayakiwe near Kiada School. That's where it all happened, where a tree fell on the vehicle that I was in, and fortunately or unfortunately it fell on my side, and so then I got a spinal injury.
If life and nature has indeed bestowed Mary with blessings, then she would have rated those who have always stood with her as the greatest of blessings. Being a mother and the principal of Icon School of Professional Studies, she admits that it's not easy to cope with the situation.
You move from a life of independence to dependence in so many ways. Especially when it comes to personal life, where you have to be assisted even to go to bed, to go to the bathroom. Your time now becomes dependent on other people. Where you have to keep appointments, you find it a challenge depending on the people you are with. Of course, life becomes more expensive because then you'll be surrounded by people who you never have. You are managing accommodation, you see. So accommodation of spinal injury is expensive to maintain. So, an extra cost, is added to your life.
Mary, an early riser, starts her day at 6 a.m. Living in the city and running a college in Kirinyaga County calls for dedication and sacrifice. Despite the challenges encountered, Mary did not give up on what she wanted to achieve in life. However, due to her condition, she had to make several adjustments in her life, and one of them was to customize her car in order to suit her special needs.
What I find very overwhelming is fighting with perception, the societal perception on persons with disability.
For a successful day, Mary requires a committed team to ensure that she is at the right place at the right time.
Hii kazi nataka na mtu awe na moyo, na uwe na moyo wa Mwenyezi, yani uwe na roho ya kimtu, kwa sababu si kazi rahisi na si kazi ambaye inatakana mtu ambaye ana roho ambaye ni ya kukasirika ama ni roho ndogo. Inahitaji ujue hata we kesho ujue inaweza kukupata nini. Kwa hivyo ukifanya hii kazi unachukua kama ni yako ambayo unafanya.
While many will sympathize with people living with disability, Mary is from a different school of thought on matters concerning disability.
Now, when you look at me, fine, you should see Mary Mwangi. Don't look at somebody who is not walking. Okay, you look at the human being.
There's always something to learn from every adversity, and for Mary, she emphasizes on the need to appreciate the gift of life and contribution of everyone in the society. Mary's life clearly shows that living with disability does not mean being disqualified to accessing all aspects of life. As a matter of fact, disability is not inability. Let us therefore empower everyone, for support is the language that deaf can hear and blind can see. Elijah Mwangi for WTV.